Okay, here we are back at the creek again. I said that I would re-show this particular rock once I broke it open and looked into it, because I saw the kind of salt and pepper look to it. Now I was curious if that pepper portion, or of course the darker portions, were pieces of various other rocks. And with 60 magnification, all I really saw was staining around quartz grains. So I feel that this is just kind of a quartz rock that has some sort of staining going on inside of it. It also has kind of a crust to it, I noticed. There's like a brownish, darker rim, which is interesting. I'm going to try enlarging and see what happens. Oh, okay, that does work kind of well. There's that. So you can see the quartz grains and that type of thing. I was curious, this I believe is also just a sandstone, but I was curious about breaking it open with a rock. So I wanted to show that. Or breaking it open with a hammer. Just seeing how easy it was to break open. I'll go in a chunk of it. Feeling it's going to be much lighter on the colored on the inside. Yeah. Oh, cool, yep. You can see the quartz grains in that quite easily. Okay. That off to the side. Probably grind these down in a different video. I was very curious about this. I was able to crack this open earlier, and if I can get this to focus. It's definitely a sandstone, but it has varying sizes of other materials in it. I wondered if this was some sort of lithic auronite, which would just be, various different pebbles of stones kind of put together in a sandstone. I believe that's the best of my knowledge. If I'm wrong about that, please comment on it. Okay. Now I'm going to get to the newer stones I haven't shown before. These all came out of the creek. I'm going to start with kind of what's the most obvious to me. And here is definitely a sandstone, red sandstone, potassium. Feldspar grains. Well sorted. The rock is really gritty. These seem to break down a lot easier than the quartz sandstones. I hit this with a hammer because I saw that it had kind of planing on it. So I hit it with a hammer and it did just kind of fall right apart. I will grind this, put this off to the side, and grind this in a future video. With the type of sorting this has, I suspect that it traveled far from its granitic parent rock. A classic for around here, quartz auronite sandstone. And this thing is just as quartz as it gets and quite dense. But you can see the pebbles on it. Well, maybe not even pebbles, but the grains, the sand grains. That's a good one. Okay. I don't know how I feel about breaking these up. I have a good time doing it, but I like the size and the density, and I may want to use it as part of building, because I like the white might stand out in like a stone wall or something like that. This. Tried to break it open. It took a lot of hits, so I stopped doing it. This to me is just a felsic granitoid. You know, it's either quartz or some sort of white plagioclase. So it's got the mineral makeup of quartz, or of granite, a felsic granite. So just a light colored granite. Yeah, not very rich in the potassium feldspar. Sorry, my attempts to try and get this to focus I may not prevail. Alright, I guess that's as close as it'll do. Yeah, just a piece of granite. Once again, not the most common thing to find in the creek, especially one that's as white as this. Usually what I find are high potassium granites. Okay, I was really excited about this next one. Here's a hunk of it that I broke off. I really don't know what to call this, other than I think it is a pure, I think this is like a mud rock, or a particular type of silt stone. It's got this gray and black, and I think the black is just higher in carbon material. When I grind this, it has a very smooth, the powder is very, very smooth. Another part of it, as you can see, there's, you know, there's banding alongside this too. That gray material and black material were kind of laid down in sheets. And here's the larger rock, and I've been beating it with a hammer, so it doesn't look as good as it did initially, but let's see if I can, there, you can see kind of the lines, the lineation of the grains. Now in 60 magnification you can see the individual grains, but when it gets ground down, it's very smooth. So I would assume in nature it was laid down like this, or the other way, horizontal, because of the planes on it. I don't have a particular name for this. I don't really know. I've seen argillaceous, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is stones that have, I guess, probably a certain percentage of clay content. And I saw some stones called banded argillaceous rocks. So I don't know if this is one of them, but I am definitely gonna grind this into a powder for a soil amendment. And last, and most exciting to me, because it took me a very long time to figure out what type of rock I think this is. So here's the outside. For a while I thought this was just schist, which is metamorphosed phyllite. And then as time progressed, there's, I think, a quartz lens, possibly. When I broke this, it broke into this really nice sheet. But the underside of it, this side, in the sun, and even with a little bit of light here, the whole surface has a sheen to it. Schists, you can see the individual grains. I can see the individual grains in this, but they're really, really small. And whenever I grind these types of rocks, the powder is extremely, extremely fine. And so I do think this is phyllite. I think this is metamorphosed slate. This is one of my favorite types of rocks. So there's one half. Here's the other half, the kind of duller, the dull outside. And then, because I cracked it open. Now I've seen in Jadam gardening, which is a Korean organic gardening, using the powder of this inside some of their sprays, because it's so fine it doesn't clog up spray emitters. We'll get in close. So yeah, made up of a lot of quartz, and the sheen is created by extremely small grains of mica. See how close this actually gets? Cool. So there we are. Please subscribe. If you subscribe, leave a comment. Really helps me out. I want to be able to do this for quite a while. I get true enjoyment out of doing these videos. You'll see a bunch of these rocks in other videos, because I'm going to break them down into amendments and kind of show you that process as well. So thank you for watching.